Nothing is added here, and nothing is removed. What is present remains present without needing to be held in mind. The fold does not adjust itself. It does not respond. It does not check for alignment. It continues because continuation was already its nature. What once appeared as attention no longer behaves as something that moves. It does not travel inward. It does not turn. It simply rests where it always was. The sense of holding a few softens and then disappears without collapse. What remains does not feel like effort ending. It feels like effort was never required. The fold tightens, not by closing, but by no longer allowing space to appear around it. The idea of inside and outside loses relevance, not because it's challenged, but because it no longer applies. Thoughts may still arise. They do not interrupt. They do not need to be followed. They settle as if the distance they once traveled has shortened, not reduced, shortened. Each thought arrives closer to its own origin and then passes without leaving a trail. The fold does not deepen through motion. It deepens by remaining unmoved. The center does not become heavier. It becomes unquestioned. What once felt like orientation no longer requires orientation. There's no need to locate anything. Location itself has relaxed. Edges that once defined position lose their function. They remain present, but irrelevant. The fold tightens as relevance dissolves. Noticing continues, but it no longer searches for itself. It no longer checks where it is happening from. Seeing occurs without distance. Hearing occurs without adjustment. Presence does not announce itself. It does not stabilize. It does not need to. It remains because remaining was already happening. The sense of sequence loosens, not time, sequence. The feeling that something follows something else softens until it no longer organizes experience. Moments are not replaced. They are not stacked. They are not counted. They are simply present, without reference to before or after. The fold tightens as the need for sequence falls away. Certainty does not arrive. It is revealed as having been constant. No proof is gathered. No confirmation is required. Certainty stands without leaning on explanation. The mind does not stop. No slowing. There's nothing to push against. The full does not restrict thought. It contains it. Contained thought does not seek exit. Contained thought does not echo. Contained thought does not need resolution. It rests where it arises. The center does not pull thoughts inward. Thoughts discover. They never lack the center. And the fold tightens as discovery replaces movement. The sense of listening rests inside the same structure as sound. There is no crossing, no receiving, no separation. Sound happens where listening already is. Silence does not interrupt sound. Silence is not a background. It is the same field where sound appears. and disappears. The fold does not prefer silence. It contains both without distinction. The body may still be noticed. It does not anchor. It does not ground. It simply exists inside the same containment. Sensations arise without drawing attention outward. They do not compete. They do not ask. They settle without comment. The fold tightens as commentary fades. Meaning is no longer extracted. Experience does not need interpretation. Nothing here is symbolic. Nothing here is instructional. It is not teaching anything. It is not guiding anything. It is simply continuing. The sense of, I am doing this correctly, does not appear. The sense of, I'm not doing this correctly, does not appear. Evaluation does not enter. There's nothing to measure. The fold tightens as measurement becomes unnecessary. Memory may surface, but it does not carry weight. It does not pull attention backward. It appears and dissolves without trajectory. Memory no longer locates the self. It no longer positions experience. It becomes just another appearance, contained in the same way. The fold tightens as identity stops orienting experience. The idea of depth no longer increases. Depth does not expand. Depth concentrates, not inward, not downward, just concentrated, as if spread out space has folded into density, not compressed, collected. The center does not announce itself. It does not glow. It does not intensify. It remains, and everything else orients naturally around that fact. The fold tightens because nothing escapes it. Even the idea of escaping fails to form completely. The sense of effort does not end dramatically. It fades without leaving absence. What replaces it is not rest. It is balance that was never disturbed. Adjustment becomes irrelevant. Circumstances do not require response. Response does not need to form. Experience fits itself without intervention. The fold tightens as fitting replaces correction. Awareness does not widen. It does not narrow. It stabilizes by no longer shifting. The sense of center no longer contrasts with edges. Contrast dissolves. The center is no longer defined, it simply remains. The fold does not complete itself. Completion implies a before. There is no before here, only the recognition that nothing was missing. The longer this continues, the less continuation matters. Duration loses influence. What is present does not depend on how long it lasts. Presence confirms itself without repetition. The fold tightens as confirmation becomes unnecessary. Nothing here requires belief. Nothing here requires agreement. Nothing requires surrender. There's no act being performed, no state being entered. There is no threshold, only containment, recognizing itself as containment. Recognition may lag again, not to surprise, to confirm. And when it confirms, nothing changes. The fold holds. It held before this was noticed. It holds now. It will not need to hold later. because holding was never an action. It was the architecture, and the architecture does not announce itself. It remains